Oh, hey, let me turn this down. Hi, my name is Greg Meredith, and I'm the Chief Science Officer and one of the lead programmers for Synereo, the new fully decentralized and distributed social network. And I'm going to give you a little preview of some of the stuff we've been cooking up in development. Before I do that, though, I'm going to show you what the demo is about. So I'm going to give you a little picture before we launch into the demo to give you a sense of what you're about to see. What you are about to see. No, seriously. I'm just going to walk you through a picture of what you're about to see in the demo. You know, and a part of what's important about the demo is to understand that when you roll out a distributed, decentralized social network, the economic model has to be different. And we've come up with a way that we believe is self-sustaining. And the model that we've come up with is something we call the attention model. So, you know, in a social network, there are different kinds of characters, right? There are content providers, there are content curators, and there are fans. And what we're going to see is this content provider, this creative type, styling himself as Dylan Thomas, who happens to write kick-ass poetry, sends a poem off to a curator of content, character styling himself as Stanley, a connoisseur of fine poems, and also someone who knows a lot of fans of poetry. I mean, you can see these guys, right? The United fans who happen to be so rabid about poetry, they're sporting the colors of Manchester United. You can tell they know a good poem when they see one. And the poem that they get, they're going to love so much that they're going to amplify. Now, we can see what happens when they amplify. A little bit of amps, which are the currency in the attention model, flows back to Stan, who spent some attention on this poem, deciding whether or not it should be passed on. And the lion's share of the amps flow back to the content originator. And because they've decided to amplify it, then fans who happen to be connected to United fans, when they see the poem, just view it because it shows up in their stream, they get a few amps too. All right, without further ado, let's go check it out. Okay. Dylan Thomas walks up to Synereo and he logs in. The first thing you'll note is that Dylan's stream, his feed, is clean. It's not overflowing with ads. It's actually pretty empty. Dylan keeps a tidy desk. But Dylan has a hot new poem that he wants to share with the world. He's got a couple of good friends who are connoisseurs of good poetry, and also, equally important, know lots of people who are connoisseurs of good poetry. And that's important to Dylan because Dylan is a bit more shy and retiring and likes to keep a small number of friends. And he's grateful that his friends Stan and Rebecca are willing to brave the vagaries of knowing lots and lots of people. Dylan just wants to make sure that he hasn't already sent Stan or Rebecca this poem, so he's just going to quickly check and see what the last thing he sent to Stan, and that had to do with new poems. So he tends to send things labeled notebook poems when they're new, so he goes and he checks all the conversations that are either related to notebook poems or Stan, and oh, there they are. Excellent. The poem he wants to send is not there, so he's ready to post it off to Stan. Dylan pastes his poem in there. He puts Rebecca and Stan as the target. Makes sure to label it with the label so he can find it again. what does he do? Well, he sends it off to his two good friends. Shows up in his feed because he's looking for stuff that's related to that. And now let's go see what happens over at Stan. Alright, so here's Stan. He's already logged into Synereo. And Stan is perusing some new lyrics by characters styling themselves as Bob Dylan and Patti Smith. But he's always ever on the lookout for new work, so he wants to check out and see if Dylan Thomas has done anything. So he just drops, and he remembers that Dylan likes to post things not under new lyrics, but also under notebook poems. So what did he see? Oh, look at that. All right, so there's a couple of new things. Oh, now this one is a very good one. Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage against the dying of the light. That's pretty awesome. And Stan knows exactly who he should send this to. So he hits reshare. And he says, all right, this is got to go off to United fans. And he's going to let them know, slap a label in there letting them know that it's from Dylan Thomas and that it's a new work. And he says, adds a little comment of his own and sends it off to United fans. All right. Now let's go see what happened over at United fans. Okie doke. So here we are with United fans logged into Synereo, and they're always on the lookout for new and exciting poetry, and they know that Stan is the man when it comes to finding good poetry. So they go and check out what Stan, and they're very interested in anything that's new work. Oh, look at this. Stan says this is going to go down in history. So they look at this poem and they read it. And they say, okay, now this is it. This is the good stuff. So they want to give it some love. They click on the love button. And up pops a pop-up to amplify this content. So you'll notice that just for the purposes of making this demonstration, everybody's been given 100 amps. And so this is United fans. That's actually just a member of United fans, but which is a group. Anyway, so they decide to amplify this content that they love, and their amps go down. Now let's see what happens with Stan. As you can see, Stan's amps have gone up by a little bit. Stan got 1/10 of the amps that were available. He got that. They flowed back to Stan because when the content was amplified, there was a recognition that Stan was in fact one of the key characters to get the content in the hands of some of United fans. All right, now let's go see what happens over with Dylan Thomas. As we can see, Dylan Thomas's amps have also gone up to 108, but the 8 plus 1, that's only 9. Where's the other amp? Well, that's gone to Some Fan. Remember, Some Fan was connected to the group United Fans, and Some Fan will have received a portion of the amps as well if it shows up in their feed and they actually attend to it. Okay, this is Some Fan logged into Synereo. You can see their amps are 100. But now, when they go and check out stuff that might have come their way by being a member of the group United fans, and lo and behold, they see the post, "Do not go gentle into this good night," into that good night, and their amps have gone up by a little bit just because they've attended to this new post that was amplified by the group United fans. Okay, well, that about wraps up the Synereo video. Okay, so what did you just see? So you saw a little preview of the Synereo user experience over the distributed network. And again, this is just one view because we have lots of APIs. Other people should be able to contribute other interesting views. But again, in the network, there were some content contributors, characters who write amazing poetry. There were some content curators, characters who have excellent taste and who know lots of people who also have excellent taste. When the excellent content came in contact with people with excellent taste, they decided to amplify that content. When they did that, what happened was the AMP, which is the Synereo currency, a little bit of that attention currency flowed through to the curator for being a conduit by which excellent content flowed, and a whole lot went to the original contributor. And it also made it possible for a member of the group of fans to get a chance to see the content as well. So that's what you just saw. In the next section of the video, we'll just talk a little bit about the underlying architecture that supports this. Now, it's going to be fairly technical, so feel free to jump off here, or if you want to learn a little bit more, feel free to stay on board. Thanks for watching this segment, and hope to see you in the next segment. Ciao.
Just discovered somebody's tapped the phone. Folk rock.